Hello, it's Jeanette with Geomazing Paper Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm back with another video tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to make this card. Look at all of this gorgeous color, and that the background is just using one stamp. Yep, and it's this stamp that comes from the Label Me Bold. Isn't that cool? And that's what I did to achieve this background here, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I also used another element from Layered with Kindness, this little element here, and I also stamped on the inside too. Little boo-boo there. But if you want to see how I made this card, just keep watching. So we're going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and this measures 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches, and these are the colors that I'm going to be using today. This is Sahara Sand, Old Olive, Garden Green, and Balmy Blue, and I'm also going to use Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm gonna I have a little scrap piece of paper here because I will be stamping off of the cardstock here, so I don't really want anything to get on my surface. So this is why I have this little piece of scrap. So I'm going to start with, on the bottom, with the Sahara Sand. Excuse me. And I'm just going to go ahead and ink it up. And I'm going to start on like a third of, if you just eyeball a third, I'm going to start stamping it, and then I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to flip this over and stamp it this way, so I get kind of a lighter version of that. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to stamp it here. I'm going to flip this over and stamp it right here. Okay, to get that lighter version, I'm going to ink it up, and here's where I'm going to be stamping off the page. Okay, and then I'm going to turn this over. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to come in here and stamp it like that. Okay, so now I've got my bottom edge here, and now I'm going to take my chamois, my Simply Chamois. Mine is really stained because I do a lot of stamping, and I just wet this thing with water. That's all I need to clean this stamp off. Just do a really good job if you can. Okay, and let's close this up because I don't need this one anymore. And then we're going to go with Old Olive, and we're pretty much going to do the same. We're going to ink it up. Now with the Old Olive, I'm going to stamp off a little bit because it's really dark, and then I'm going to stamp and then turn this around and stamp it again, just a little bit off. And I'll do the same. I'm stamping here because it's very dark, and I'm going to stamp right here and then turn it around and stamp right there. I actually pressed a little too hard, and I got some ink right here. So let me take some of that ink off, and we'll do it one more time. I'm going to stamp this here, and I'm going to stamp it here, and we'll stamp, and I'm turning this around like that so that we get the greenery in the background here. Okay, now let me bring out my Simply Chamois again. We're going to clean this really good because we're going to just green this up just a little bit more. This olive is a really pretty color, but I want just a slightly different shade of green, just to give this little background a little more depth. So I'm going to stamp this. I'm going to stamp off, and in between the Sahara Sand and the Old Olive, I'm going to go ahead and stamp, just to give it just a little bit of green, and you can kind of see the difference. Just that little bit of green adds, but I have to stamp it off twice because it is kind of a dark, let me turn this around, it's kind of a dark green, but it's a totally different shade than the Old Olive. So basically I have just given this several different shades of green, just like it like it would be in a forest. Okay, now we're going to go and clean this off one more time. really good. Make sure this is nice and clean because I'm going into the lightest color that we have. And let me close up the garden green. You know what I love about our new stamp pads is that they stack. They have these little feet on the bottom of them. They really stack nicely. Okay. Now I'm going to open up this Balmy Blue. And I'm not going to stamp off with the Balmy Blue because it is a light color. But I'm going to stamp. I'm going to stamp right here first. And I want to turn this around and go up. And turn this around and go up like that. Because there's still a lot of ink even after the third time you stamp. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to turn it around and go there. Turn it around again and go up there. So now I have a nice gradient of color. So let's go right here. Turn it around and go here. And turn it around and go here. And now there's some white spots that I want to fill in, but I don't want to fill it in with full strength. So I'm going to stamp it off twice and just go in and fill in some of this white area. And just, you know, play around until you're happy with all the different colors that are in your little background here. What I have here. Okay, so I'm going to close this up. We are done coloring the background. I really like the way this turned out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take some of my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And with this stamp from the Layered with Kindness, Layered with Kindness, I'm going to take this leaf stamp right here. I've got that mounted here. And I'm going to go ahead and ink that up in the contrast with this tuxedo black. It's going to look really, really pretty. So I've got to be really careful when I stamp this. And I'm just going to go like maybe 3/4 of an inch in. And we are stamping. There. Ooh, isn't that pretty? Look at that contrast. I love that. Okay, and now I'm going to stamp this thank you here. And I'm going to put, oops, that's upside down. This thank you also comes from that stamp set, Label Me Bold. And it's the thank you. So I'm going to put this kind of right in the middle. I think I like it right in the middle. I'm kind of eyeballing it because yeah, just like that. Okay, and there's our thank you card. That was really, really easy to do. Now let's layer this, and we're going to layer it on a piece of black cardstock, and this cardstock measures 5 1/4 by 4, and it measures, I mean, it layers perfectly on here. Okay, and then we're going to layer it like this on a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock base. Okay, let's do that. And we're just going to go ahead and use some snail adhesive. You could, well, actually, you know what? Instead of snail adhesive, I think I would rather use my liquid just to make sure, since I'm layering it, I want to make sure that I am perfectly even all the way around on all the corners and the sides. Okay, and you know what I did not get out is my silicone craft sheet, because knowing me, I will get glue everywhere if I don't. So let's bring this black layer, and we are going to make sure that that is straight. Does that look straight to you? It looks pretty straight. Okay, now you can pop this up if you want to, just to give it a little bit of dimension, but I'm not going to. I decided that I'm just going to let it be a really simple card. And I am going to just layer this on here, making sure that it is like that. Okay, just like that. Now you can pick any color for your background. I mean for your base. I like balmy blue. I like the way it blends with this balmy blue on top here. And that is just the simplest card ever. Now I'm going to put a sheet of white cardstock inside. And let's get that. Let me see. I don't want to fill the whole thing up, so I'm just going to cut this to, we're going to cut it to, instead of 5 1/2, it's going to be 5 3/8. Okay. And we'll cut that. Put that away. And then I'm going to cut this to 4 1/8 instead of 4 1/4. Okay. And so that's just going to give me a really small border all the way around. Now you could also use just some regular copy paper if you don't want to use up your cardstock. Having a hard time talking today. All right. That's me every day, right? All right, so this is where it's going to layer. And I'm just going to go ahead and put, I'm going to actually use my Memento black ink, and on the side here I'm going to go ahead and stamp this right in the center here. Okay, I'm not in the center, on the side right there, just to kind of tie in the front with the back. And then let's let that dry. I'm going to put some Tombow Mono adhesive on here. You could also use your snail adhesive if you're really good at positioning this, but I want to make sure that there is a nice even border all the way around. Oh, I don't know what I got there. I think something must have been on my hand there, but that's okay. You don't see that. I could also take this off and cover this up, but I think I'm just going to leave it like this and maybe say, dear somebody, by that black mark there. We'll see. So I hope that you like this. This is a very fun, quick, easy card to make using the background stamp from the Label Me Bold. And there's a few little elements here that you could also incorporate in your backgrounds too. But I really like these bold sentiments here. They just kind of pop, make your card pop, don't they? I love that. So I hope I've taught you something. I hope you like this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button and notification bell so that you'll get notified every time I have another video. And if you need any of the tools and supplies that I used in this video, please go to my website at www.geoamazingpapercrafts.stampinup.net. All the supplies will be listed in the description of the video. So once again, I am Jeanette with Geo Amazing Paper Crafts, and you make it a great day. Bye-bye.